Good evening. Tonight's top story. Japanese multinational consumer electronics and video game company Nintendo is dead.
Woo! Finally!
Nintendo, R.I.P.
We did it.
We did it. We got rid of those filthy bastards.
Finally, hello, I'm Mecha Gamezilla, aka Owen O'Donnell. Welcome you back to the machine with my two very special guests who have yet to manage to escape.
It's your man, Barry T.
And Richie Morgan.
That's it. You remembered. See, your time in the machine's not been that detrimental.
It only took 5 takes, but we got it.
We got
there. So, you join us on a very special day.
Oh, tell them the good news.
Nintendo, no more. Yes! So, I mean, obviously a lot of emotions, all good ones.
Yeah.
Nothing but good news. Nintendo, blight on the video game industry for the past, how long have they been
100 years,
shooting their
100
foul mess down our gullets? Nintendo had their fingers in a lot of pies. Bad pies. The kind of pies that give you indigestion. Now, what's going to happen to those pies, really? Because, I mean, will they be selling those on, or will they just be all going into the big tip?
Richie,
Along with Iwata?
Big tip.
if there's pies that need disposing of,
Oh, we got our pie disposal expert in.
which one would you inhale first? Metroid?
I'd be going for the Shy Guy pie. Definitely. What?
Donkey Kong likes banana pie.
Banana pie from Donkey Kong.
I mean, what?
Plum pie, because Mario was a plumber.
What about a peach pie?
Peach pie, yep.
That's disgusting, Richie, please.
Sorry.
What, apart from Mario, what other Nintendo
None.
characters were there?
So obviously a lot of positives. Can anyone, dig deep? Is there any negative to Nintendo being dead, now that they are?
No more Nintendo Easter eggs.
I suppose when you're in a game shop, you would get a good laugh. Just going by the shelves and going, on your way to the real games, the AAA, the proper stuff.
Croc.
Realistic graphics,
Croc HD.
tactical takedowns.
Command and Crocker.
I knew that Nintendo had a couple of consoles out for the last few years, but I was under the impression that Nintendo released no games for about the last 20 odd years.
Well, they did release games, but they weren't actually so much games as echoes of former glories.
Oh, I see.
It was just shit bouncing off walls and into consumers' pockets, much to their trousers' detriment.
Bubsy, did Nintendo do?
Yeah,
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Decap Attack,
Because they had Bubsy
That's-
3D Land on the 3DS.
Streets of Mario.
And then Bubsy 3D World, because that's the kind of shit that Nintendo does. Rehash.
It's great that you've got, other game series just paving the way for originality,
Mario Fusion.
Well, thank fuck, Nintendo, they don't even leave big shoes to fill. Ubisoft could just vomit in those shoes.
And they'd overflow because the shoes are so small.
Oh,
They could vomit in a 17 Assassin's Creed games into the hole in it. One would fill it. Because that really goes to show one Assassin's Creed game is better than anything Nintendo has had to offer video games for the last 100 years.
In true Nintendo fashion, the shoes that they leave behind are babies' shoes.
Well, I mean, it's just
Sick, overflowing in
Ubisoft
a baby's
were
shoe.
able to keep up with the demand. I mean, every year you would only have to wait 12 months, maybe less, for a new Assassin's Creed game.
Maybe less.
Maybe
I
a
mean,
Nintendo should have.
They should know.
in the 5 years
should
since the
delve.
first Assassin's Creed game came out, there's been 17
Sev-
Assassin's Creed
17
games. I mean,
Assassin's
that's.
Creed
I mean, who else is giving you that much? It's like I say, like sick overflowing out of a pair of baby's shoes.
What do you want to play? Do you want to play Waluigi Paint or do you want to play Assassin's Creed Pinball?
So we'll talk about things that are not only alive but going from strength to strength.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs. Have you seen that there's a trailer for the next Watch Dogs trailer?
No way.
They're doing trailers for the trailers now.
See, that's ahead of the curve.
That's it. There was chat of Watch Dogs tying into the Assassin's Creed expanded universe, which is already a very rich universe anyway. I mean, the story of the jumping men across centuries now could be tied into this futuristic open world playground that there's the minds
That is
at
rich.
Ubisoft
That
are
is
really
rich.
excited.
My wallet's bursting.
I can't wait for Watch Dogs All Stars Battle Royale. I can't wait for
Watch Dogs Racing. That's just a dog racing.
I can't wait for Assassin's Speed.
Need for Creed. I can't wait for Need for Creed Underground.
Gundam Battle Withheld.
Since news of the death of Nintendo has spread, we've had some mourners sharing their memories with us. Owen, if you'd like to read out some of these.
Slime Girl says, Golden Diva, R.I.P.
Golden Diva will be missed. Red Tattoos Corp says Lou Albano, R.I.P. Of course, Captain Lou Albano. IRL Mario, you'll be missed.
Shenaniganza. Baby Rosalina taken too soon. We'll never truly find out how Baby Rosalina can exist on the same track
Pocket
as
Universe.
grown-up Rosalina,
Pocket Universe.
and what happened to grown-up Rosalina after the events of the end of Mario Galaxy, to have her be in a
Odo
karting tournament.
It's Odo.
So many questions. The lore is inconsistent. No wonder they died.
So, Barry, tell me, what have you been playing recently?
Well, I've been playing a masterpiece called Tossit. Tossit. From ZyQuest Games, who made the now seminal Casey Duck Butter Duck. I'm sure some of you may know about. So Tossit's a game where you're going into the next generation of motion controls. You have
Toss it, you say?
Tossit. I'll put it on so you can see
Please.
what it's like. Right, it's got this music in it that's pretty good.
It's really
Play.
good.
We can see here that there's a bowl.
very nice.
There's a bowl on it. Let me set the scene. There's a bowl on a table. Toss the ball into the basket.
It's really, is that like a photograph of someone's living room?
You have to. I'll just pick the iPad up. You have to hold the and toss it. Like the name, toss it
Oh, I see. Very good.
into the toss it. Toss.
So it's similar to.
Oh, this went. It's gone. Sorry.
It's similar to holding a bowl and tossing with a ball, trying to hit an object.
Well, it's that game you used to play when you were a kid, isn't it? Like throw the ball from the bowl at your TV.
How much?
Free.
They're just giving that away.
Free.
Just reminds me of.
This is. Wait. Not only is Toss It a free experience, it's a free living room simulator.
Oh yeah, so I played a game called Kickle Cubicle for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Called what? Sorry?
Kickle Cubicle.
Is it based in a cubicle?
No,
Then what gives?
he kicks cubes.
Or is this about the board?
No, because they changed to spheres because their cubes weren't going fast enough in space.
Did they change the spheres?
Kick spheres.
I think they changed to octagons for a while, but
I remember one of the Borg ones because the cube was rubbish, they changed the design into a big straw, and that way they could actually be, because you know the way when you're a thing going from one place to the other, you have to travel.
Yeah.
Because it was a straw, they could actually be where they were and where they were going at the same time. They didn't need fuel no more. They didn't need gas.
Quite a clever episode. What series was that in?
It was Series 7, and the episode was called Borgen.
Kickle Cubicle. You're a wee man and you kick blocks to solve puzzles, and then collect little bags.
What's in the bags?
I don't know. I don't know if they are bags or if they're little biscuits. So he collects all the bags of biscuits.
Biscuit bag.
But he has to make cubes by...
Please, collects all the biscuit bags.
Collects all the biscuit bags.
Thank you.
And then when he's collected all the biscuit bags, you complete the level. But he has
Sorry,
to...
what kind of biscuit?
I don't
What
know.
kind of bag?
It's quite a wintry game, so maybe ginger biscuits?
In a kind of burlap sack, maybe?
Do you find ginger biscuits particularly Arctic?
Not Arctic, but
Is it like
festive.
a Kit Kat in a Tesco bag?
Maybe? No, it's not. It doesn't look like a Tesco bag.
A Fox's Classic in a Waitrose bag?
So he has to make the blocks to kick. He has to make
Is
the
it
cubes to kick.
Garibaldi in a little bag?
And
That's grim.
he has to do that by blowing the enemies.
Pardon?
He makes cubes by blowing the enemies.
Marry me with my money.
I've been playing Mario Kart 7 a lot recently.
3DS?
Yes, just to get hyped for the imminent release of Mario Kart 8.
Mario Kart 8 looks incredible.
It really does. It's, well, for the people that's saying, oh, the Wii U's underpowered, it's not next gen.
The way people talk about the Wii U being underpowered is you'd swear it was chugging along
Aye.
and farting out awful polygons all over the shop.
One thing to do is go and take a look at the track comparisons of tracks that are in the Wii version and that are also in Mario Kart 8, and like the difference in graphics is absolutely unbelievable. It's
If
amazing.
there's a video game based opinion that convinces me that someone hasn't a fucking clue what they're talking about, it's that one. Nintendo need to ditch the Wii U and release a new console
Jesus.
that is up to scratch.
Every time these hardware rumours come up as well, people give them coverage. The more that people cover these rumours, the more that, you know, average Joe, called Joe Blogs, thinks that it's really think it's true, and then before you know it, you got this snowball effect of Nintendo are releasing new hardware, and it's not the case.
But the sort of the guy over here in the game shop going, you Nintendo are bringing a new console, aye? What's that? Nintendo are bringing a new console. Are they? Oh, I read it on the paper internet. I read it on the internet. All right. Are you going to buy it? No.
I read it on the glowing newspaper box.
Every time these hardware rumours come out as well, they're all the same thing. It's like vastly overpowered hardware that's never going to be realistic. You remember before the Wii U came out, there was that Project Cafe stuff.
Well, then I also remember when the actual specs for the Wii U, unconfirmed, leaked, which kind of turned out to be. But when they found out they were putting a 32 gig hard drive in it, and everyone was like, immediately the doomsayers were out of the woodwork and, come on Nintendo, get with the program.
I need 4 terabytes at least so I can put the entire Metallica discography in FLAC on my Wii U. Where? So Mario Kart 7, I mean, a game approaching its 3rd year, like almost 3 years it's been out.
Mm-hmm.
And I get more playtime out of it now than ever, because like the online communities are great, and if from what I've seen of the Mario Kart 8 online features, they look even better. Mm-hmm. Some of the stuff like the YouTube stuff, like uploading race replays, be able to get that on mobile as well. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then one thing I liked is how you can set times for your tournaments. You can set up a tournament weeks in advance, set a date, set a time, and then whoever's there Gets to race in it.
That's cool.
So one thing that gave Mario Kart 7 longevity was its pretty incredible online. So
Nintendo are pretty good at longevity.
they're getting really good at online as well. So you're going to be picking up Mario Kart 8?
Yeah.
Owen?
Yep. And there's the tie-in, of course. Buy Mario Kart 8 in the first month of its release, and you get a free game to download, which usually means that you're going to be shifting through a big pile of colostomy bags trying to find the least rancid one to burst open and pour over your grateful and begging face. But all the options, well, yeah, I'd say
Everything.
all but one.
one.
All bar one, and
Sonic.
I'll let our listeners at home decide
Sonic.
which one is the weak link. But
Weakest.
I've got a hard time picking out one of them. If I didn't already have the wonderful 101, that would absolutely, and I would recommend that
likewise,
first
I would
and
recommend
foremost to anyone who's considering the deal. But after that, I'm at a loss. What do you guys think?
Well, I
What are the options again? 101, Pikmin
101,
3,
Pikmin 3,
Game and Wario.
Wind Waker,
Wind
We
Waker.
Party You.
Wii Party U.
Jesus. Wind Waker.
Yeah, Wind Waker's on there. So Wind Waker, still a 40 odd quid game, is it? Though? So for value sake, if you're one of those.
Monster Hunter.
Oh, Monster Hunter.
Well, Monster Hunter, yeah.
I've got, unfortunately got all the really good stuff, so I'm kind of torn between. I was torn between
New
either.
Super Mario Brothers U.
Oh, is that on there too? I was torn between either Wii Party U, WarioWare, or Sonic Lost Worlds. Might have to go for Sonic.
Oh my
I could
god.
lend you something.
Oh, there we go. I have to go for
It's
it.
spreading.
Um,
Christ.
What are you thinking about?
Well, I missed out on a couple of games, including Wonderful 101, so I'm probably going to go for Wonderful 101. But if I were you, I would maybe say Zelda.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I haven't played Wind Waker.
Well, there
Oh,
you go.
well, Jesus Christ, yes. Yes, sorry.
Quite an incentive when you can buy that Mario Kart 8 bundle for £200 and then get a free copy of Wind Waker with it.
I've been trying to convince others this deal. Jump on it.
Never been a better time to be a Wii U owner.
Or even a Wii U prospective owner.
If only Nintendo hadn't died.
I know.
Shame.
R.I.P. Well, it's not a shame.
Yeah, fuck them.
Now that they're dead, I suppose that's why all the games are just up in the air. Fill your boots.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8 looks really shitty anyway. I mean, they're covering up all the jaggies with just lots of bloom and lens flare, and there's no anti-alias in there.
They're covering up all the shitty graphics with other graphics.
Big shout out for
So, what did you think of Dark Souls 2?
Dark Souls 2?
Bearer of the curse. 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 Bearer of the curse.
I was a bit disappointed.
Cool.
I've also been playing and finished Ghost Trick. All I can say is everyone should go and play Ghost Trick as soon as possible and finish it because it is one of the best games I have ever played. The less you know about it before you play it, the better, so I really will leave it at that. I'll just say music is great and the visuals are absolutely gorgeous. I would say the best looking game on the DS. One of the best looking handheld games ever. Gorgeous presentation, beautiful music, and a story that is very, very strong. Play it.
Yep.
I found a heart-shaped treasure map. Inside a bottle washed ashore. And when I followed the dotted line, it led me to you forevermore. We have news just in that a new Nintendo 3DS title, Tomodachi Life, has been announced for an upcoming release in North America.
So in the Japanese version of Tomodachi Life, there was what Nintendo referred to as a glitch, which maybe was their first mistake in terms of dealing with the public sensitively, where two male Miis could have a romantic relationship and have kids, which when framed in a real life situation is completely rational and no one would ever complain about that being in a game. Unfortunately, because Nintendo saw this as a programming hiccup rather than an implemented feature, they took it out for the Western release. Which, again, you can see why people would be upset about that, because it's not fully inclusive, it's not representative of everyone that would want to play that game. If you're going to put romance options in a video game, then no one's going to mind if you're catering to other types of relationships other than, heteronormative relationships. It's not a big deal, and anyone would encourage that in video games. And the way that Nintendo dealt with it initially wasn't great. I think they kind of felt the thing they put across was, it was just a bit of a wacky thing that happened in the Japanese version. But I mean, since then they've issued a statement saying if Tomodachi Life were to get a sequel, then they'd certainly look at making it more inclusive. And I don't really feel like Nintendo can be criticised as heavily as they are being criticised. And I feel like, yet again, the real issue and a chance to actually have a discussion about it is being swept aside because people with a platform on the internet want to show that they're really fucking cool guys and that this is a black and white issue and there's no room for discussion because it's just not on. There's yet again this opinion that Japan is full of homophobes. They hate all the gays. They're just filthy old men that whack off to schoolgirls. It's just simply not the case in Japanese culture.
Yeah, I mean, Japanese, I think we're not in a position to say what they are, but it definitely doesn't come across like homophobic. It comes across like just people that aren't really talking about it as a thing.
There's not the same awareness of sexuality and gender issues in Japan that there is over here, but at the same time...
They are quite... I mean... Sorry, carry on.
But at the same time, there's not as much homophobia in Japan. It's generally more accepted than it is over here.
Yeah.
I think the UK has just as big a problem with homophobia as anywhere else does. I think that people in the UK Twitter sphere maybe think like they're the enlightened few, but
I think the problem seems to. I've certainly read that the problem in Japan is that nobody's talking about it, but nobody's really been that hateful about it either. It's just it's not on the table as a discussion, but that also means that nobody's leading the charge for against homosexuality, and it's like. That there's a big difference between being actively bigoted and homophobic and maybe just being, just not looking at something.
When these issues come up, it's incredibly important to talk about them because this is how games are going to evolve and become more inclusive. What we don't need is the sensationalist media encouraging stuff like boycotts of Nintendo products, not at a time where all this Nintendo is doomed shit is happening, because this is almost like the real issue is just an excuse for people to jump on the anti-Nintendo doom train again.
What definitely frustrated me about some of the things I was hearing on this issue was an attitude that suggested that, oh, here we go again, typical Nintendo, as if this is some sort of like only one piece of a massive jigsaw puzzle that when put together shows a gay man being battered to death by Mario and Luigi, which is just simply not the case. Like, this is a PR blunder which has been, I mean, they've listened to the complaints and have been quite reasonable, and from their response suggesting that any further games, it sounded to me like they would be 100% behind the idea of more inclusive relationships.
They are quite, I mean... Sorry, carry on.
In this whole situation, you feel bad for gamers that aren't being represented in the games that they want to play. And that's the issue here, and that issue stretches far beyond one Nintendo game. It's too easy to jump on the anti-Japan train when something like this happens, because I'm sure for anyone that's played an even spread of Western and Eastern games, for every Western game that includes non-heteronormative relationships, there's a Japanese game that will do it, and maybe to a better degree. There was almost like, Mass Effect, there's a revelation, there's a homosexual relationship in it, but it wasn't like the first game that I ever played that had any of that in it. And it, it's treated like we the West are leading the way, and all this, making the West, we make inclusive games. Did the West make inclusive games though? I mean, really?
Looking at the grand scale of things.
Can we get on our high horse and be like, Japan, sort it out? You guys,
Japan
you
needs
sorted
to
it out.
catch up.
They are quite. I mean, sorry, carry on.
I've certainly seen a lot more content from Japanese games where homosexual characters or even trans characters. I mean, well, we're so liberated over here and they're so backwards over there, but I still haven't seen any trans characters in Western games. Perhaps there's some little indie effort that's been put together and is not doing well on Kickstarter or something like that.
Just talking about it earlier on, we could name 5-10 games, Japanese games, that had trans characters. It's not like it's a total minority thing either. There's maybe more representation in Japanese games than there is in Western games, but people will never see it. It blows my mind how many people now are into Persona games, because when I started playing Persona games, no one wanted to know it was weird Eastern shit. It was that they pedo games that they Japs play in that, eh? But now, people actually play the fucking game and realise, I see.
They are quite. I mean, sorry, carry on. Yeah, I think we should close off this bit by just saying, like, we're not trying to say it's not an issue.
Well, of course, it's absolutely an issue. The discussion's been closed to us by people that almost feel like they claim to speak for us.
Yeah.
And if you don't agree with Western journal opinion, then you are a fucking homophobe.
Yeah.
And you're blocked and banned.
Which really leads us to the bigger issue of Nintendo is doomed, because there was that. I mean, was it Rob that wrote that thing about this last time this came up about Nintendo?
Yeah.
Rob Fahey wrote a great thing last time this came up about, the kind of the journalistic glee that comes around every time Nintendo aren't doing so well for themselves, and this is just feels like the next step of this.
It's that thing of people really like to see the. Oh God, I was about to quote Spider-Man there. To see the hero fall. People will latch onto it like it's.
Folk listen to this might think, here's 3 Japanophile Nintendo fanboys.
I'm not at all a Nintendo fanboy. I own a Wii U, but the only Nintendo home console I owned before this was the GameCube, which I only bought 2 games for, and I thought one of them was a bit rubbish. So I've got no.
You shouldn't really have to defend yourself on that front. No.
I know, but I mean, games, games are thick and usually quite ugly, aren't you?
They are quite. I mean, sorry, carry on.
On the subject of people quoting sales figures just for no reason, when the Mario Kart 8 coverage was coming up, I saw in a few places, this will never sell 20 million copies. People make this big deal out of how Mario Kart Wii sold 20 million copies, and this is why Nintendo now think it's a system seller. Nintendo don't think that Mario Kart 8 is going to sell 20 million copies, and that's not the fucking issue here. Who gives a shit? Yeah. I want to burst into tears every time I hear this shit. They could make the worst fucking game in the world and it could sell 20 million copies, but it wouldn't matter.
I just don't understand it.
Because Nintendo exists to make good games, first and foremost. I believe that. And sure, it's a business, and sure, they got to make money. But when have they ever bowed to all this pressure? Never. It's not going to happen. They're not going to put out new hardware at E3. They're not going to start making games for mobile platforms. But every few months, every 6 weeks or something, every time you get a new sales report, it's the same people saying the same things about Nintendo. Nintendo was doomed. They have to adapt.
Nintendo's been
adapt.
doomed since the N64.
Exactly. As wonderful journalistic coverage from Edge back then.
Hasn't-
Still at the top of their game, like.
Hasn't Nintendo been doomed since the Virtual Boy?
Pretty much.
That was actually
That was pretty
hurting people's, like physically hurting people, and they still managed to come back.
They are quite. I mean, sorry, carry on.
Like, games journalism as a concept, it doesn't bother me because I can choose not to read it. But it's starting to do damage to the industry, I think. Because for all of us who can sit here and say, oh, it's all bullshit, there are people out there who believe it. And with certainly Western journalism almost turning against Nintendo, I don't see how it can be good for anyone.
I see Kotaku links on my Facebook page. Like, it's very easy for me to just get into my little Twitter echo chamber and feel like everything's fine. But when I see people I actually know, who I know, like, they're not stupid or anything, but it's all they know. They just think, like, oh, I like games, I'll check out the gaming sites. And there's no worry about sources, profession, accountability, all that kind of thing. It's just, I'm just checking the gaming sites. And if this is what they're seeing every time, and just, like, not questioning, because, well, why would you? It's, I mean, obviously this has been written by people who know what they're doing. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a big gaming website. So it's taken at face value.
They are quite. I mean, sorry, carry on.
I think we can pretty much all agree that Nintendo was not doomed.
Yeah.
And this recent controversy, whereas Nintendo's fault has been completely
hijacked
to possibly the detriment of the full industry, because it's not a good thing. For Nintendo, the biggest players, arguably, in the industry, to be in a position where they could be legitimately hurting, that's not good for anyone. And if Nintendo, touch wood, ever does cease to be a thing, I'd bet that we had a hand in it. The collective we. Not the Nintendo we.
Don't lose your way.
They are quite. I mean, sorry, carry on.
No. Did you say nerd?
Feedback.
Kate Kapow asks, I feel like a prize asshole. No one even mentions my casserole.
Is that a rap?
What casserole? That must be a rhyme of some kind.
Do you want to rap it? You try rapping it?
With what?
Just rap it.
We can stick a beat under it.
I'll give you a beat. Right, 2 seconds. I'll get up a beat.
I'm not.
No, it'll be fine, man. You just need to rap it.
You can rap all the
Right,
questions.
here comes a beat. Go.
I feel like such a prize asshole. No one even mentions my casserole.
Wood asks, how do you like your eggs?
Fired from Birdo's mouth. Shat from Yoshi's arse. How do you like your eggs? Dizzy.
That's good.
Pablo Clark asks, is Ryan McLeod the abusive partner of Scottish games journalism? Has he ever, has he hit you?
Not all abuse is physical.
Pablo Clark asks, what is your favourite games/series of games that is difficult to defend? Turk 3, for example.
That's a good
I
question.
really want to say Idolmaster, but I've never played an Idolmaster game.
But you still want to defend it? I know what
Sonic
your one
the
is.
Hedgehog.
What's mine?
It's Borderlands, surely.
If you think so.
Yeah.
Do you want me to defend Borderlands?
I want you to defend Borderlands 2.
And John?
Your game of the year. Which year was that? Your game of the year?
2011 was it? Was that when it came out? Look, contrary to popular belief, I really enjoy FPSs when they look nice and they're well realised, and I like games where there's a lot of loot, and that's why I liked Diablo.
Do you like the jokes?
I don't. The memes, I could take or leave, to be honest.
You could take them.
I could, but I wouldn't want to.
Richie, that must be
Sonic.
Well, surely everything you like.
Heat Phoenix asks, Sonic CD.
Sonic CD is rubbish. Isn't it? It's rubbish. Don't look at me like that. Sonic CD is rubbish. Because it's a game about going fast.
It's not rubbish.
It is rubbish. When you get to go fast, you get a loading screen that just interrupts the flow.
No, that's only when you've passed a time
and if
travel
that
post.
doesn't happen, you
And
don't
that's
even get to
actually
go.
very satisfying when that happens. Because you're travelling through time as well, good.
No.
One for Richie next. Heat Phoenix again asks, how do you feel about gay marriage in Sonic video games?
Be very careful, Richie.
I'm for it.
Go on.
Sonic
and Shadow tying the knot?
Yeah, why not?
Espio and Charmy B?
Sure. It takes all sorts.
Sonic and Shadow get married. Who's the best man?
Tails, obviously. No?
Big the Cat.
Why would it be Big the Cat?
I was going to say Vector the Crocodile.
It would be Tails. Tails has been there the longest.
Sonic gets married to Robotnik. Who's the best man?
It's always Tails. It's always going to be Tails. Why would it not be Tails?
Because Tails doesn't approve. Because Tails is a bigot.
Grounder gets married to Shadow.
Who the fuck is Grounder?
Don't you dare. Grounder's the only good character that was ever in Sonic.
Grounder gets married to
Scratch.
Who's the best man?
Is Grounder the badnik with the drills on his hand?
Oh, so you do remember the SSSSS, the Supersonic Search and Smash Squad? Which was a little joke about the SS.
Shadow gets married to Bike Beef. Who's the best man?
Coconuts.
Knuckles gets married to Mega Man. Who's the best Mega Man? Is there a Robot Master called Best Man?
What would be his attack?
Crap patter.
Richie Morgan gets married to Roll. Who's the best man?
The police.
A disappointed Jim.
I don't know. Tails.
Sonic gets married to whoever was driving the truck from the opening of Sonic Adventure 1. Who's the best man?
Whoever was driving the truck gets married to the whale from the first level of Sonic Adventure. Who's the best man?
A television with the graphic of a shoe on it. Math Debate asks, if you could have any game studio make a game for you, which studio and type of game would it be?
Monolith Soft make a turn-based RPG with rail shooter elements.
Sonic 2 make a Sonic game. Sonic 2 make another Sonic game, but it's got Mega Man in it.
And Knights. Knights in tights.
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Richie's answer was he'd like Konami to make a shmup.
Good choice.
See, that sounds simple, but it's not. It's never gonna happen ever again.
I'd like old school Codemasters to make a humorous British action adventure game.
It would be nice to see that old style, proper retro British indie feel in something now that wasn't just like a horrible game with a quirky British narrator over it. Something that like from the ground up was.
Yep. I know they did Overlord, but it wasn't very good.
Overlord was a good try at that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Though. I'd have liked to have seen that be better.
CD Cronin asks, is there any point to the handle on the GameCube?
It's really one for 87th, that question.
Seamless.
Should get 87th to record an answer to that question. Like, I legitimately think you should do that.
What is a video game? A connection between the animal, the participating player, and the unliving logic of the machine. At the emergence of a new millennium, a man was tasked to iterate. The only inspiration was make it new. The man saw the eastern sun rise over the cold, angular, industrial buildings that let his homeland survive in a cruel world of poverty, starvation, and atomic bombs. This celestial spirit of nature rising above the cynicism and selfishness of capitalism. The notion of pandering to something worse growing ever more distant. That image, the circle emerging from the square, which would meet the natural animal and shake its hand. This was the future. This was the dawning. The sun would shine.
Well, I always want to defend the handle on the GameCube because
Same.
At one point I used it. I was walking up a driveway in the mountains that was it was icy, and I had to carry the GameCube and a bunch of other stuff, and I carried it by the handle, and I was like, if this console didn't have this handle, I'd be in dire straits.
I had a slightly different experience. I was walking home through Bog Hall one night, and a group of boys started on me, but luckily I had 2 GameCubes in my backpack, so I held them like they were boxing gloves, and I beat the shit out of all of them.
Daddy Cool Vipper asks, what's your opinion on the Dark Souls-alikes that have started being developed? Are they good for the industry?
I assume by Dark Souls alike he's referring to Dark Souls 2, so in which case, no. Thomas asks, how many pictures of Kaoru Nagisa can you have saved before you need to come clean to your girlfriend about it?
There'd be no clean coming with that, would there? Am I right?
What?
Is this really needed?
What's your favourite part of the Magi?
Balthazar.
What is this?